Hi, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Liv.
And this is the Mach-E vlog. I'm sure you guys have all heard about the F-150 Lightning that was introduced last week. And today we're going to give you our thoughts about this new exciting electric truck from Ford.
So let's go.
Well, we meant to get this video to you the day after the F-150 Lightning was announced, but we've been dealing with a sick puppy. I call him a puppy, but he's actually
16 years old.
So we've been in the emergency room with him, staying up at night with him, but anyways,
someone's been sleeping on the couch with the dog.
Yeah. So now here are our thoughts. It's sort of been good. We've had time to see what everybody said about the F-150 Lightning. We won't rehash too many of the exact details, but it is a great vehicle launch and exciting. There's a lot of good information about it. I think most people are excited that, it's 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds or mid 4 seconds, good towing capacity, up to 10,000 pounds, up to 2,000 pounds of payload capacity.
230 to 300 miles of range isn't bad either. Up to 563 horsepower and 775 pound-feet of torque is not bad.
It's really good. It's a lot more than our Mach-E has, which is just really cool. Of course, the F-150 Lightning will be quite a bit heavier, but like I said, 0 to 60 in mid 4 seconds, that's pretty impressive. Our Mach-E is 0 to 60 in 4.8 seconds, so it gives you an indication, like, I'm going to get smoked by an F-150 Lightning at some point. One of the most important stats for people is the price of this vehicle, and it starts at just under $40,000 and goes all the way up to $90,000, which is like a $50,000 range. And of course, a lot of that depends on the range as well as the trim level. And F-150, if you don't know, if you're not familiar with them, they always have the Lariat and the Platinum versions that offer a lot of extra features that people are used to, upgrading their vehicle. So at that $40,000 level, that's probably more of your very basic truck and more designed for commercial or fleet operators to purchase. So if you want it, apparently it will be available for consumers, but I'm guessing that most people will probably be looking at about $65,000 for a trim level of what they're used to. And if you're curious, if you're not familiar with the F-150, the average F-150 price is about $60,000. So it looks like it'll fall into line with what you're paying for a gas F-150. And you have the bonus that you get a federal tax credit right now. That's $7,500 at the federal level. And depending on what state you live in, could be additional tax credit money back to you. Here in Colorado, it's $2,500. So it's sort of like taking $10,000 off the retail price of the F-150 Lightning. So that's pretty cool.
To cap it off financially, you also have way less moving parts. You have at least a third less gas costs or energy costs. So this is really an appealing option for people who are used to the traditional ICE F-150. Those are the basic stats, but some of the things that really stand out about this are the practical features. That's what this is for. On the Mach-E, we have the touchpad on the door to get into the vehicle. And on the F-150, those are actually buttons. And that's really considerate because if people are going to be wearing work gloves, you're not going to be able to do a touchpad. That's some of the practical features about this vehicle.
It's just like the standard desk that you get in the regular F-150. That's also available in the F-150 Lightning. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's basically the center console. You can fold it out and then you have like a complete workstation there so you can put your laptop or notepad or whatever. Very practical function that they offer there.
And that is a feature that is available on all trim levels, which seems very considerate for what kind of users are going to be using this vehicle. That's a really important feature. There's also a tailgate work surface, but that is only available on the Lariat and the Platinum trims.
Another little detail that I've actually seen some people make fun of, but if you know trucks and you know how trucks are used, sort of a cool feature. So the F-150 Lightning still has the monopole antenna like you used to see on all cars, and you still see on a lot of pickup trucks now, pretty much all pickup trucks. And why do they do this? I think there's a couple of reasons. First of all, if you've ever been to, very remote rural areas of the US, radio signals are not that strong, and a pole antenna is still the best way of getting your FM and AM reception way out in the boonies. Plus, that little like shark fin antenna like we have on the Mach-E, that's great on something like the Mach-E, but if you are going to have a commercial vehicle, some of the racks that extend over for like ladder mounts and stuff like that, they go over the cab of the truck. If you have a shark fin, you can't put that on there. So couple of cool reasons to have it. Plus, as I've seen, like Chevy and Ford have mentioned as well, truck owners, they're in rough conditions. They have cracked windshields. And if you have an antenna in the glass, that makes your windshield more expensive. Monopole cheap antennas, they're cheap. They're very, very easy. And on a utility vehicle like a truck, it's nice to have a cheap antenna on it. That is the best option for getting your reception. So little detail, but it just goes to show that sometimes, the simple solution is the best solution.
And it's one of the ways that this vehicle is clearly prioritizing function over form. Now onto the cool features. It's certainly not aesthetics, to be honest. When I first saw the F-150 Lightning drive out onto that platform, I was a little underwhelmed. I was expecting something not traditional, something flashy and interesting, but what I saw was an F-150. It was really traditional and expected, and I realized that's what they're going for. They're going for people who already have an F-150. And the thing that made me really jealous and that made it stand out, however, was the Mega Power Front!
It feels like you have to say that with an echo every time.
You have to punch that.
Yeah, I had frunk envy. And I believe they stated that it's about 400 liters of storage in the frunk, which if you look at the Mach-E, that's literally about five times the size of the Mach-E frunk. So it's huge. It has power outlets in the frunk with USB outlets in the frunk, and as long as you cover up, it has flaps over those power outlets, you can hose it down. When I first saw it, the idea that I had was, I don't know if you've seen, but like Tesla owners, they do frunk and treat. It's like trunk and treat or whatever it is, like around Halloween. But I imagine like pulling up to one of those Halloween events and the F-150 Lightning is dressed up like a monster. And then you hit the button and it just goes, and it's just filled with candy.
We didn't even talk about this beforehand, but I totally have that vision. It does look like, and you put teeth on it. Side note, we did put teeth on my old car, but that's another story for another time.
See the picture?
I love also that the Mega Power Frunk has a flat lip, so you would just slide things in super easily. You don't have to lift it over anything.
Yeah, that's something like with the Mach-E, it's basically, and like every frunk that I've seen, it's like you got to lift and lower stuff down into it. And as the frunk is bigger and way bigger, it means like if you have like bags of concrete, you can just put it in there. Like I wouldn't want to have to like lift as high as the F-150 is and put that into a frunk. So it was like, it's genius, but it's super freaking simple what they've done with that. And I think it's really cool.
Yeah, definite frunk envy. So that's the frunk. What about the trunk though?
The trunk. The trunk bed is really cool. Like, and they've started including this on the current F-150, but having a scale so that as you're loading it or towing something, it can figure out the weight and the load that you're putting on the truck, which I think is pretty genius. And another like, duh, why didn't they think of that before?
Another cool feature is that the Lariat and Platinum trims also have the 15.5-inch screen, just like the Mach-E, and they still have the dial, just like the Mach-E, which I think is just such a handy feature. If you have any dexterity issues, if you're wearing gloves, whatever, it's super handy. The lower trim level, the XLT, does not come with the 15.5-inch screen, but the Lariat and the Platinum do, and they also come with the Sync 4A.
Which means it also has a lot of the same features that the Mach-E has, if you're familiar with those. So it'll have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and will be updatable over the air with power-ups, another new Ford term. With the higher trim levels, you can even get the Blue Cruise like you're going to be able to have in the Mach-E. For the Platinum, it'll be standard, and for Lariat, it'll be an option. Probably the same as the Mach-E, about a $500 or $600 option. So very cool that it's even getting that same type of technology that the Mach-E has down in a pickup truck. So that's pretty neat.
The vehicle comes standard with a 32 amp charger. A 48 amp charger is an optional upgrade like we got with the Mustang Mach-E. But what's really cool is the 80 amp charger.
It's called the Ford Charge Station Pro, and it also includes the intelligent backup option, which means it can be an emergency backup supply for your house. And with the extended battery, it could literally power your home for up to 3 days.
And that is with like full home use. If you're really conservative, apparently you can get up to 10 days.
If you don't want to have that because it requires some special equipment installed in your home, you can literally just plug in. There's 11 outlets throughout the vehicle. I think there's 5 in the back, 4 in the trunk, and then 2 inside the cab of the truck. But you could literally just plug in an extension cord for your home, or like if you're out camping or having a disco party in the parking lot, whatever. It has a lot of very cool cool power options. And even there's even a 240 volt outlet in the bed of the truck. So pretty darn cool. Lots of different power options if if that's your thing, if you need that. We went to a cabin last year that didn't have any power for like a birthday getaway weekend, and that would have been super cool. Ford, if you're listening, we would love to test out an F-150 Lightning, drive it to that cabin, and be able to have lights in the middle of the night. That would be really cool.
As a side note, the drive to the cabin is 10 miles on rough rocks and gravel, so that would be an excellent test of the suspension too.
Very cool. Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
I think you guys should listen to that.
A lot of people are comparing the Ford F-150 Lightning to the Rivian R1T, the Cybertruck, of course, and the Hummer EV. We're not really going to do that because I feel like the F-150 really occupies a certain space in the market. This is America's truck. This is the best-selling truck in the US and really the world. And it has a history of 47 years. No other vehicle really has that, so we have a lot to compare it to. What we have here is a Ford F-150 electric, and we know exactly what to expect. With the other vehicles that are coming out, barring the Hummer, really, we aren't entirely sure what to expect, so it doesn't seem like a fair comparison. For example, the Cybertruck, we don't even have the finalized design.
They still keep saying that they're going to finalize design. It should, look basically still like a spaceship or a door wedge, depending on your opinion of that. But it doesn't have rear view mirrors on the prototypes that we've seen, and you have to have rear view mirrors. You can't really order or configure a Cybertruck. And even with the F-150 Lightning, some of the options and all of that stuff, there's no details exactly on what everything is going to cost. So worrying about how much exactly is the range of the F-150 Lightning compared to the Cybertruck, I think it's a little premature. We know they're all going to be competitive, but in my opinion, I think they're sort of going after a different market. The F-150 Lightning seems to be going for the F-150 type truck buyer. They don't want anything flashy. They want things to work. They want function. They want utility. And they don't care that it looks like a traditional truck. These are the type of people that have probably bought F-150, F-250s, truck after truck after truck. And when it comes time for them to buy a new truck, now they have an electric version. I think that the Cybertruck and maybe even the Rivian is going for the non-traditional truck buyers. It reminds me, we just watched Sandy Monroe. He did a overview of the F-150 Lightning, said it was great, gave it a lot of accolades, said he was still leaning toward a Cybertruck, and he said something that I thought was really key. He goes, I'm still leaning toward the Cybertruck because I really don't need a truck. And I think that sort of, to me, sums up the way Ford is looking at this and approaching it. Is they built the F-150 Lightning for people that need a truck, and Tesla has built the Cybertruck for people that don't need a truck. The 47 years that they've been building the F-150, well, it extends way beyond that. If you look at their truck history, they have a long history of building F-Series trucks. They know what their customers want and what their customers like. There's been a lot of competition between Chevy and Dodge and Ford in building trucks over the years. So I think they are looking at those type of buyers, the people that have used F-150s extensively. I used to own a 150. I bought a 99 F-150 XLT. I went for the base model with a V6 engine. And this very much appeals. If I were back then, if I could have bought an F-150 Lightning, I would have been super excited by that. If our garage were bigger, we would probably be interested in an F-150 Lightning because, if you think about it, at $60,000, $65,000, maybe slightly more than what we paid for our Mach-E, but it may be just as quick, can haul a bunch of stuff, just doesn't really fit in our garage. So that's probably the only reason that we didn't go ahead and reserve one. But I could see a ton of people plopping down the money and being pretty excited by this. Some people were talking about the range being a huge issue because, the Cybertruck can do, 500 miles on one of the higher end versions. I think people overestimate how much range that they need in something like a utility truck, because a lot of fleet owners specifically, they may use their truck, they may do less than 100 miles a day, and then they go park it at the shop, they can plug it in, and then the next day they have a full tank of gas. So those are the type of things I think are going to make this hugely successful. And any EV truck, I think, is going to be a huge bonus for reasons like less maintenance. And we think about maintenance, when my car's in the shop, I get a ride to work or I work from home, I'm not losing income. But if you are a painter or a plumber or something like that, and your truck's in the shop, you probably have loss of income if you can't get to a job site and carry all your tools, that not only do you have to pay for the maintenance cost of the truck, you're losing time away from the job site. So I think a lot of people, they'll see those type of things as huge bonuses of having an EV. No maintenance, less fuel costs, not having to have like a fleet gas card where, you can go and use it at certain gas stations, and an employee that you're paying, $20, $30 an hour for a skilled person like a plumber or electrician. They have to run and go get gas. May not take them but 15, 20 minutes, but still it's easier just to plug it in and have that sucker full of gas in the morning. So, or fuel, we will say.
Power.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be hugely successful especially for the fleet type buyers. I think there's going to be a certain market of people. When I had my F-150, there were a few times I took it on road trips, but mostly it's I used that around town to go to Home Depot for, hauling stuff, hauling bicycles. When I wanted to go on a road trip, we took the nice, comfortable car. So I don't think the range would have been a deciding factor. I think it's going to be hugely successful. They had 45,000 reservations for the F-150 Lightning within the first 48 hours. That's my 2 cents, maybe a penny and a half opinion about the F-150 Lightning. I know Liv has a lot of thoughts on this as well.
Well, I know you mentioned that maybe we would consider getting this instead of the Mach-E, but I don't think that's the case at all. There may have been a point in my life where the F-150 might have been appropriate. Like when I was in college, I was studying industrial design and I was hauling wood, metal, plastic, lots of just messy stuff. This might have been the vehicle for me then, but really I'm not the person that this is most beneficial for. The person that this is most beneficial for already knows that this is the vehicle for them. The fact that you can power up a whole job site, the fact that you could do that without having stinky, smelly gas and you're running a vehicle the whole time, it's just quietly powering up a job site. That would be absolutely amazing. The tailgate work surface as well as the interior work surface, so useful. The fact that the seats can lean all the way back, fully flat. The person who wants this vehicle knows they need that. They know that they might be taking a nap in their car. They know that they're probably going to be using their laptop or writing or on a job site, or like they have in the demos, sawing wood on the back of the work surface. There's so much about this vehicle that is incredibly useful. And I think that's the kicker. This is an F-150 that is really useful, really functional, and it just happens to be electric. It may be something that the Rivian R1T is competitive with, or the Hummer EV, certainly not the Cybertruck, but that remains to be seen. The Rivian is still not out yet. This is a tried and true, built for tough, tested vehicle that just happens to be electric. I don't think in any way that we are the demographic who would have any use of it. I love the fact that we have this sweet, comfortable Mach-E that can fit my trike. That's the big kicker. But we don't need all the benefits that you get from the F-150 Lightning. We don't need the onboard scale. We don't need the towing. I mean, it all sounds really sweet though. And the Mega Power Frunk sounds really sweet. I would love to need this vehicle. And the moment we saw that price, it was kind of a little push to reserve, but we have no need for it. I do think that there are a lot of people that do, and I hope that if they've been thinking about making the switch to electric, that this is enticing enough, that this is traditional and familiar enough and provides literally everything without cutting any corners and without losing anything that they expect. Maybe this is just the next F-150 model, their new upgrade, and it happens to be electric. I think that would be amazing. And like Patrick and I were talking about, if even just a small portion of the 900,000 people who purchase an F-150 per year switch to an EV, huge. The impact on the environment, huge. It's just phenomenal, fantastic.
Yep, and I think that's the kicker. We can talk about all of this different stuff in competition with the other EVs, but really the goal is let's get EVs out there for everyone. And it's really cool that Ford is going after their most sold brand, the most popular truck. And if you get a percentage of those, if you get 45,000 people to buy it in the first year, that's huge. And I think once you start getting those type of numbers with the Mach-E and with all of the Teslas, the tons of Teslas that are out there, the DWs, all of these different things, the more people hear and see about EVs doing different types of functions in people's lives, it's going to be really awesome. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Even if you think it's a dull looking truck, be excited for those people that need a dull looking truck that does the job. And, we're converting more people to EVs. So this is a huge positive step for Ford, for EVs, and for the country, for the earth, climate change, all of that good stuff.
And It's not ugly. It's certainly not ugly. I do like the light, but I have to say that when that Cyber Orange GT rolled up next to it, that kind of stole the show for me.
Yeah. Should we get a Cyber Orange GT? We can't. We can't.
No, we can't. But maybe we could test drive one.
I would love that. Yes.
Yes.
So you could send us a F-150 Lightning and a Cyber Orange GT to test, and we'd be very happy. So.
Or if you have one and you want to do a Mach-E meetup and we just get to look at it and take photos and pretend that we own it, that'll be fun too.
That works too.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't, please subscribe. If you didn't know, we're actually also on Twitter and Instagram. So you can follow us on there if you want to see our adventures, our road trips. Like, you'll get more live and up-to-date information following us on there. We will make our videos and publish them here on the YouTube channel. So, hit that notification icon. Stay tuned. We got some cool road trips coming up. And can't wait to show you guys what we're up to in our Mach-E.
And if anyone was interested in that Swans with Franks thing, it's coming. Keep it electric. No, that's a... No. Stay charged. Swans with Franks on 5. Vroom, vroom. Anyways, wherever you are...
and whoever you are, we hope you find the electric vehicle that's right for you. And that's it for us. So we have a sick doggy that we're going to go and provide some cuddles with. So, see ya.
Take care.
Bye.